Go ahead. Let's give it a shot.
Sir, what do you say to Americans who are upset with you over the way you downplayed this crisis over the last couple of months? We have it very much under control in this country. The coronavirus is very much under control in the USA. It's going to disappear. It's like a miracle. It will disappear. March 4th, we have a very small number of people in this country infected. March 10th, we're prepared. We're doing a great job with it. It will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. What do you say to Americans who believe that you got this wrong?
And I do want them to stay calm. And we are doing a great job. If you look at those individual statements, they're all true. Stay calm. It will go away. You know it is going away. And it will go away. And we're going to have a great victory. And it's people like you and CNN that say things like that, it's why people just don't want to listen to CNN anymore. You could ask a normal question. The statements I made are, I want to keep the country calm. I don't want panic in the country. I could cause panic much better than even you. I could do much. I would make you look like a minor league player. But you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to have our country be calm and strong and fight and win. And it will go away. And instead of asking a nasty, snarky question like that, you should ask a real question. And other than that, I'm going to go to somebody else. Please, go ahead, please.
Now, Trump might try and disregard Jim Acosta's question, but the fact is that about half of the country doesn't approve of Trump's handling of the outbreak. And the principal contributor to that is the fact that instead of adequately preparing this country, Trump spent precious days and weeks pretending that the outbreak didn't even exist, or eventually that it was just some fleeting issue and everything would be back to normal in no time.
Have you been briefed by the CDC? Are the words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all, and we have it totally under control.
How concerned are you?
Well, we pretty much shut it down. You know, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat, as the heat comes in. Typically, that will go away in April. We're in great shape, though. It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear. They're going to have vaccines, I think, relatively soon. And they're going to have something that makes you better, and that's going to actually take place, we think, even sooner. So it's a lot of good things are happening.
Because a lot of people will have this, and it's very mild. They'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. You know, we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by, sitting around and even going to work. Some of them go to work. But as of right now and yesterday, anybody that needs a test, that's the important thing. And the tests are all perfect. Like the letter was perfect. The transcription was perfect, right? This was not as perfect as that, but pretty good.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who are concerned that you're not taking this seriously enough and that some of your statements don't match what your health experts are saying?
That's CNN, fake news. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Be calm. It's really working out, and a lot of good things are going to happen.
My first question is, you said that you don't take responsibility, but you did disband the White House Pandemic Office, and the officials that were working in that office left this administration abruptly. So what responsibility do you take to that? And the officials that worked in that office said that the White House lost valuable time because that office wasn't disbanded. What do you make of that?
Well, I just think it's a nasty question, but it's something that we have tremendous control over.
Mr. President, the other day you said that you were not responsible for the testing shortfall. Very simple question. Does the buck stop with you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your response to this crisis?
I'd rate it a 10.
What do you say the Americans were scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Easter's a very special day for me. And I see it's sort of in that timeline that I'm thinking about. And I say, wouldn't it be great to have all of the churches full? You know, the churches aren't allowed, essentially, to have much of a congregation there. And most of them I watched on Sunday online. And he was terrific, by the way. But online is never going to be like being there. So I think Easter Sunday, and you'll have packed churches all over our country, because we've done one hell of a job. Nobody's done the job that we've done. And it's lucky that you have this group here right now for this problem. or you wouldn't even have a country left.
In fact, he was so committed to downplaying it that we missed every single pivotal opportunity we had to contain the spread. Trump eliminated our government's global health and biodefense positions in 2018. Trump closed the Global Health Security Unit at the NSC. Trump disregarded warnings from Obama administration officials about what could, quote, become the worst influenza pandemic since 1918. Trump ignored warnings from our own U.S. intelligence reports in January and February about a likely pandemic. Trump denied diagnostic tests from the WHO back in February, the same test that over 60 nations accepted. Trump dragged his feet invoking the Defense Production Act until there were nationwide shortages of equipment and gear. I mean, these aren't small things. They were the literal difference between life and death, and his failure to act quickly is having dire consequences. Consider, too, that the United States and South Korea each had their first case of coronavirus on the exact same day, on January 20th. And this is what each country's respective number of cases looks like now. The difference in those curves is the direct result of each country's government responses. In South Korea, in a matter of days, the number of cases went from a few dozen to over 900 in a single day. But within a week, that number halved, and only 4 days later, it halved again. And the very next day, it halved again, to the point where just this weekend on Sunday, South Korea reported only 64 new cases. And that's because early on, with just 4 known cases, South Korea solicited test kits, which they developed only a week later, and everyone had free or affordable access to those tests. Just over 2 weeks after authorizing that test, South Korea had already tested over 46,000 people, while our system, plagued with issues, had tested just over 400. Meanwhile, our cases are spiking daily with literally no end in sight. And while we have finally ramped up testing, our numbers still pale in comparison to South Korea's on a per capita basis, in that they tested at a per capita rate more than 40 times that of the United States. But at this point, it's clearly too late to even take advantage of the benefits of early large-scale testing, as our government's inaction has already failed to contain the virus, and so now we're seeing cases spike in every state in the nation. So Trump can pretend that the American people want to be manipulated into staying calm, but we don't need to be lulled into a false sense of security. We need to be given an actual sense of security. From day one, we needed to have been told the truth and given clear guidance and offered actual leadership instead of some piecemeal approach with half-baked solutions that always seem to come 3 weeks too late. So when Jim Acosta tells the president that Americans are upset with him, that is putting it mildly, to say the least.